Hi, my name's Eli. I teach yoga at home. And today I'd like to talk about the idea of using your critical mind in yoga. Sometimes we hear when we come into class, drop out of your mind, get into your body. Super important, actually, to touch into what's going on in your body. We spend so much time being distracted or trying to use our mind to fantasize ourselves out of the situation that we're actually in. So it's really important to touch into the situation that is really occurring in your body. But once you've done that, it's not just a matter of accepting whatever's going on in your body. In fact, I would argue the opposite. If you're too critical, what can happen is you don't enjoy yourself. And we definitely want people to enjoy themselves when they're doing yoga. And I, in my own practice, I want to get the feeling of being in my practice. But on the other hand, I know I'm not doing things perfectly. One of the problems with being too critical would be if you can never make a decision. If you are in a restaurant and you can't decide between the soup and the sandwich, the soup is a little too filling, it's a little more healthy, the sandwich has too many carbs, but it's like delicious, and then you leave the restaurant without having ordered anything, that's a problem. But that's not the number one problem I see in yoga practitioners. In fact, the number one problem I see is a little bit of over decisiveness, a little bit of lack of critical decision. And what happens if you don't make a critical decision is you get your usual. You get what you usually do, and you don't make any improvement on the issues that are really coming up for you. So while there is a sense of accepting yourself, accepting your body, how it is, and your practice, there's some things that I don't want to accept. There's some things in my own practice, like if I'm doing my chaturanga really sloppy, it doesn't feel good. I don't want to accept that. And in my students, I don't want them to accept something that's going to hurt them or something that's out of alignment. I want them to deal with that. And part of that is, actually figuring out what's going on, diagnosing the problem, proposing a solution, proposing like a prescription, and then seeing if that prescription addressed the problem, if it took care of it. So there's actually quite a bit of critical thinking that goes on. I think the issue is, how do you integrate the critical part of the mind and the critical processes of yoga with the feeling good part, with the keeping things moving? You can still focus on your breath. You can still enjoy the feeling of being in the pose. But you might also be able to detect that you're not doing it perfectly and try to come a little bit more into a better alignment, more healthy patterns, and less habitual use of your body. So here I'm playing with my alignment in triangle, and I'll move to side angle. And I'm paying enough attention to what's actually going on in my body that I'm not really fantasizing about being in better alignment than I am. I'm recognizing the fact that I'm not quite in perfect alignment here, and in fact, I've spent so much effort figuring out what's going on that I can feel that my front hip is not exactly under me. It's coming out away from the midline, and it's making it harder for me to turn my chest open, particularly when I straighten the leg. So that's step one. I'm not fantasizing that I'm in a different pose. I'm checking in with the pose that I'm actually in. But I'm not done. In fact, now that I've figured out sort of what's going on, I can give myself a prescription and figure out how to actually get that hip under me. So I'm going to externally rotate that left thigh, and instead of sticking the butt out, I'm going to stick the butt in a little bit and get that left outer hip to draw down so that the left side can get longer. And so I'm taking some actions here to address the situation that I've recognized. Of course, I'm still not done. I have to figure out whether the steps I took were effective in actually addressing the situation that I noticed. So it's not just a matter of getting that hip under. I also have to feel where the correct alignment is so that I don't just slip into my other habits when I lose track of it. And I'm not taking it too far and feeling bad about myself or getting overcritical. I'm still enjoying the pose. In fact, I'm getting a little deeper, and it actually feels a little bit nicer when I really get the alignment right. So check it out. When you practice, do you just drop into your body? Do you sort of always do your usual thing until someone like the teacher comes over and nudges you, or if you hear something different that you might change? Or are you sort of always on the lookout for what might be going on in your body and dealing with those issues as they come up? Something for you to think about in your practice. Thanks for watching. See ya.